ACs visited a hamburger joint in between filming, people fled in fear of being attacked.
Well, those are skinheads in the movie.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, they kind of are. So this goes back into what I said about the in the future kind of setting. An opening narration voiced by Orson Welles, as well as comic book style transitions between scenes, were wanted by the director but removed by the studio. These are included on the director's cut DVD, as well as the in the not too distant future, or whatever the hell it's called. Those are all on the director's cut.
The only version that is available.
Yes.
As of this recording.
And the only one I've ever seen.
So if you don't like it,
deal with it.
Sorry. Join the line with all the other movies that have been quote unquote ruined.
I mean, well, as you were saying, like off mic before we started, you were saying that like people are comparing it to like the changes that they made to the Star Wars trilogy. I'm like, okay, it's not that bad. They didn't like change.
Jarring.
They didn't change the overall narrative. It looks a little odd, but it's not horrible.
I'll give you that. It's jarring because it's like these like graphics done in clearly the 2000s for a movie that was made in 1979.
Yeah, so it looks a little
strange. So when a cartoon subway rolls up and turns into a rusty old subway from the 70s. Which is ironic
that you mentioned that, because that's the most noticeable one of all of them.
Then okay, I get it. It's a bit jarring, but if you're like someone like myself or someone like yourself who's only seen this version,
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah. They didn't change anything in the movie. They didn't add scenes to it. They added different transitions. Big fucking deal.
Plus, it's the way Walter Hill wanted it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, you could say the same thing about George Lucas, but I don't believe that George Lucas originally wanted that. I think he just thought money.
Yeah.
The night scenes of the Warriors talking about Cyrus and the big meeting at the Bronx was part of reshoots after the original opening of the film was cut out. Originally, it was set in Coney Island during the daytime, which Cleon's girlfriend says goodbye to him, and also features the rest of the gang being told by Cleon why they were chosen to go to the big meeting. The main reason why this opening was cut was because the editors told Walter Hill that the scene completely fell through because it's set in the daytime, with 95% of the film set at night, and they felt it wouldn't work since it would cut to nighttime, and it was a distraction. Walter agreed and decided to go back and reshoot the conversation that the Warriors have before their train arrives. Which, I guess that kind of makes sense.
I've seen the scene. It's fine if it's not in the movie.
Yeah. The rainstorm was added at the request of director of photography Andrew Laszlo as a bit of logic, since in most night scenes filmed for any movie, they like to wet down the ground to help the lighting effects. So they decided to actually add a rainstorm. If you watch most films, you'll see that the ground is always wet, but there's never been rain.
There was actually a rainstorm during filming, which helped as well.
So,
nature helped light the movie.
Yeah, because basically rain, like wet ground, looks better on film.
I think we've talked about this.
Maybe.
I think it was Gremlins?
Maybe. It's possible. It's definitely possible. But yeah, that's a thing that every production does when they're filming at night. That's just how they do it. People would gather throughout the making of the movie to watch. Filming sometimes had to move due to noise from crowds that came to watch. Some crowd members were forcibly removed from the set.
Because New Yorkers.
Yeah.
I go walk here, it's a free country.
Hey, I'm walking over here.
Yeah, and then he gets carried away by a large gang member from the homicides.
Probably. They paid him, they have to earn their money. The Baseball Furies was created due to Walter Hill's love of baseball and the band Kiss, and are a reference to Second Base, an uptown gang from the 70s. Second Base wore Letterman's jackets with Second Base across the backs. Yeah, the Baseball Furies are just fucking weird. Like, that is the
There's a lot of weird groups, gangs, but
that's the one that stands out the most. You're just like, wow, that's a lot of effort to go through to be a fucking gang every night. You know what I mean? You gotta paint your face up every time. You gotta wear that probably uncomfortable fucking 70s baseball outfit. I don't know. Vermin was scripted to be killed by the Lizzies, but Terry Michos, who played Vermin, made his character more comical to make it more memorable and more on-screen appearances in the movie, which worked, and his death scene was taken out. So, good for him.
Yeah, that whole scene, someone should have died.
Yeah, it really seems like it comes out of nowhere and doesn't really affect anything. It's really strange. In the script, actually, you know what would have worked better for that scene? If Rembrandt was killed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That would have just been like a, you know. But, let's see, where are we? In the script, Swan... This is fucking strange. In the script, Swan was to be abducted by a homosexual S&M gang who had Doberman pinschers. They were to be played by John Cryer and Kevin Bacon. Swan was scripted to escape and lead the Warriors home. I want to see that now.
It's a whole movie.
Yeah. That is so fucking strange. And again, John Cryer and Kevin Bacon.
That would have been way too distracting.
How did that happen?
That would have been too distracting. Like, wait, can we cut back to the... Wait, what?
Well, Kevin Bacon, no. It would have been to us
retroactively.
Now. Retroactively, both of these guys, like, they were nobodies at this point.
It's like this movie just
Kevin
takes
Bacon,
a turn.
Kevin Bacon had only been in Friday the 13th by this point.
Not at this point.
Yeah.
When was the first Friday the 13th? Wasn't
79, I believe.
Was it?
Yeah, the second one I think was 1980, which is where Jason, I believe, started.
Either way, he would have been in virtually
It would have been
unknown.
weird now,
Right.
just looking back. In the script, Fox was originally the love interest of Mercy, but the two actors had no chemistry, and the Mercy romance was transferred to Swan. Thomas G. Waits was fired 8 weeks into principal photography for being difficult and arguing with Walter Hill, so his character was removed from the movie when a cop threw him into the path of a train during a fight. To this day, Hill felt bad about the rough times he has had with Waits. Waits is not in the final credits because he demanded his name be removed.
He's not in that scene.
No.
That's another guy.
Yeah, that's definitely another guy because
He
he was
puts
fired
his
right
head
after.
down.
Yeah.
He puts his head down to run. You can tell that's not that guy. That's a different guy.
He'd already been fired by that point. Yeah.
So it's like, get in there, stunt double. We need to kill this guy.
So that'll tell you for any actors out there, if you're a dick, they will fire you.
Yep. Well, especially back then. Again, there's like, zero tolerance.
Very much so. In one take of the scene when Swan swings a bat into Deborah's face, in the scene where he throws it at the cop, she was rushed to the hospital at 3 a.m. for stitches and still has a scar.
Oops.
That sucks. In the subway where Mercy's running with Fox's double, she fell and broke her wrist because the actor didn't let go of her hand. This is why she later appears in a jacket as it's covering up the cast. The filmmakers had Mercy disappear from the film for a while, meeting up with the Warriors at the subway platform and saying that she stole the jacket she was wearing before arriving there. Poor girl. Jesus, she had a rough time.
Yeah.
Hope she got paid well for it.
Probably not.
Nope. Michael Beck accidentally broke 3 of the stuntman's ribs while filming the scuffle with the Furies. Beck himself was unaware of this until he was confronted by the same stuntman at a Warriors reunion 37 years later. So he just found out. That was like, oh yeah, by the way, you broke 3 of my ribs, asshole.
Don't give this guy a bat.
Apparently not. Like, this dude is fucking dangerous.
Jesus.
Yeah. I'm not going to do it. I was going to. But Warriors Come Out to Play Yay. I'm not going to do it.
Right.
Was improvised by David Patrick Kelly, basing it on an intimidating neighbor of his. In order to get the movie out before rival gang film The Wanderers, which was in post-production, they used 3 editing teams working day and night to finish this movie as quick as possible. This came out 5 months before as a result.
I'm shocked this movie makes any sense.
Yeah.
You have 3 teams working on it?
Yeah.
Back then when, there's no communication because there's no cell phones, there's no...
My guess is that Walter Hill was just running back and forth through all of them going, okay,
like
here's
a
what needs to
madman?
happen. Yeah, here's what needs to happen here, here's what needs to happen there.
Well,
It's the only way I could think it would happen. Because that's insane.
Yeah.
The original poster features the words, "These are the armies of the night. They are 100,000 strong. They outnumber the cops 5-1. They could run New York City." This upset and outraged many people. Some tried to have the film banned. Because of a fucking tagline. Things don't change.
Yeah, no, they don't.
The film was linked to sporadic outbreaks of vandalism and 3 killings. 2 in Southern California and 1 in Boston, involving moviegoers on their way to or from showings. This prompted Paramount to remove advertisements from radio and television completely, and display ads in the press were reduced to the film's title, rating, and participating theaters. In reaction, 200 theaters across the country added security personnel due to safety concern. Theater owners were relieved of their contractual obligations if they did not want to show the film, and Paramount offered to pay costs for additional security and damages due to vandalism. Hill later reflected, "I think the reason why there were some violent incidents is really very simple. The movie was very popular with street gangs, especially young men, a lot of whom had very strong feelings about each other, and suddenly they all went to movies together. They looked across the aisle, there were the guys they didn't like, so there was a lot of incidents, and also the movie itself is rambunctious."
Boys in the Hood.
I would certainly say that. Yeah, it's basically the same fucking thing.
And also the reason why you think this movie made a lot of money, it would have made a lot more money.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was making money hand over fist.
Oh, yeah.
But they pulled it, months into its release.
Yeah.
Not even maybe a month into its release,
Yeah.
they started pulling it because of this. So this movie would have made just a bajillion dollars.
It would have made a fuck ton of money. Because it has done amazing. Like, there's very few people I know that actually don't own this movie. Because it's just...
And I can almost guarantee you the screenings we referred to at the beginning of this...
They will be packed.
They will be packed.
Absolutely. So the legacy of this film, which I'm actually very fond of doing nowadays. The Twisted Sister song, Come Out and Play, starts off with the sound of clanking bottles, and singer Dee Snider, Twisted Sister, come out to play, yay. Which is pretty hilarious if you ever watch it or listen to it. The dialogue from the scene in which the Warriors are discussing their strategy to get back to Coney Island and question the status of the truce after Cyrus's murder is featured as the lead into the 1992 song Wrong Side of the Tracks by the Brooklyn-based band Biohazard. The group Pop Will Eat Itself used sound bites from the movie for their song Can You Dig It? And then I just gave up and just said many other songs have referenced their sampled movie. Because
it's one of those movies.
I started writing them down and I just like, oh shit, there's a whole fucking thing. Alright, I'm just going to give up. In 2005, Mezco Toys released Warriors action figures including Swan Cleon, Cochise Ajax, Luther, and a Baseball Fury. I can tell you for a fact these sold like fucking hotcakes and there are none left. I happen to be in the toy industry and yeah. These sold insanely well, and you can't find them for anything other than ridiculous amounts of money now.
Yeah.
A phenomenal video game by Rockstar Games was released for the PS2 on October 17th, 2005, which acts as a prequel to the movie. Play it. It's awesome.
And another reason why I think a lot of people picked this movie up. Because this is a really good game. I mean, this is based on a movie, and then let me go find the movie.
Another game for the Xbox 360, not related, entitled The Warriors Street Brawl was released via download as a side-scrolling beat-em-up. I've never even heard of it.
I've seen it. It's all right.
Yeah,
it's not nearly as...
Basically, the Rockstar the Rockstar Games one is basically like Grand Theft Auto set in the Warriors' time. It's awesome.
I argue that it might be the best Rockstar game ever made.
In a world where GTA 5 exists, I disagree. But we'll move on from there. In 2005, Roger Hill, the actor who portrayed Cyrus, sued Rockstar Games and Take-Two Interactive for royalty fees, claiming the video game used his voice and depiction of his likeness without his consent or paying him royalties. Take-Two asserted its claims that the voice and likeness of Cyrus were a component of its licensing agreement for the film. Hill died in 2014, and the outcome of the case is unknown. My guess is Rockstar won because, yeah, they probably did. They licensed everything from the movie.
But he doesn't, he doesn't. They don't own me, you don't. Yeah. They don't. Nobody owns my voice.
But
and, it's
actually,
one of those
they do if it's from the movie because it's sampled from the movie. You didn't do anything different. So unfortunately, that is unfortunately the case.
Yeah.
One of the greatest game series, the video game series Saints Row, borrowed heavily from this film, specifically the first installment. It's very true, and the Saints Row series is increasingly insane, but a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Tony Scott had planned a remake of this film. In an interview in 2005, Scott said that the remake would be set in modern-day New York City. Gangs such as the Baseball Furies and Hi-Hats would not be included in the remake. No shit. After the death of Scott, Mark Neveldine has showed interest in directing a remake. Nope. In July of 2016, Joe and Anthony Russo, you might know those guys. I think they've gone on to do something.
Couple little movies here. Yeah,
couple independent films. The Avenger, something like that. Yeah,
something
I don't know.
like that.
Movies that I think a couple people have seen. Announced they were working with Paramount Television and Hulu for a reimagined Warriors TV series. Frank Baldwin was signed on to write the series. Nope.
It would have worked better as a TV series.
It would have, but that was 3 years ago.
It's fine, guys. We have this. We don't need another one.
I would like to see a TV series. I ain't gonna lie. Like, you know, if somebody's
Especially
like,
in the
"Hey,
right
we're gonna
hands.
see it," yeah,
The Russo brothers have made great movies.
I think they would
in
probably
and outside
know.
of the superhero genre. So
I'd be fine with them doing it. I would actually prefer maybe get like a grittier director because they're kind of slick. But you know, either way,
they could just be producers. They might not even direct.
Producers would be better. Get like a set of like gritty ass directors to do it. That'd be great. But yeah, that's not going to happen. It's been 3 years. If movement hasn't happened yet, it's not going